5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Vegas, make some noise for the last game of the night.
All right, we are coming into match number 2 of week number 5. The halfway point of this split, and the players are still looking great. You want to look great at home, you can look like every single one of them with the all-in pack. And if you go ahead and pick that up on the Steam store, we're going to throw in the H1PL off-roader for free.
That's the Rich Campbell method of shopping. Why make decisions when you can just have it all? Doug is raw, going to be in the car. And speaking of having it all, this has been the team who has just been taking all of the kills. We've seen them in previous weeks doing it in a much more aggressive fashion. I feel like this win was almost uncharacteristic for them in a way, Jason.
I definitely believe it was, and Doug here was the player that ended up going off in that last match for them. One of the things, you know what's interesting to me that I haven't seen happen yet, is that Set to Destroy has been taking the point. They've been taking down first place time and time and time again, and we talked about at the beginning of the season, at what point does somebody start jumping their route? At what point do you decide that that guy's doing it better? At what point do we go and try to do what they are doing? Does somebody jump in and start doing their rotations and try and land ahead of them and maybe take a spot right next to them and start looting around them to leave them less resources? When does a play like that come in?
Also, I feel like we saw a team like Cloud9 trying to adapt to what we actually did see. But, guys, we couldn't see any of that action, any of that strategy if it wasn't for our official hardware sponsor, Republic of Gamers. 75 computers, one for each of our players, and now on those computers we see our first safe zone, and it's pretty close to where Ruby Lake is, but we're a little bit more over to the west, and we got even less playable area.
We saw it favoring Epsilon, though, so the circle does have Cranberry in it. Epsilon has Cranberry all to themselves, so that's one of the major cities in the map. They're going to have a lot of loot. I think that they're going to be sitting pretty solid coming out of that, and Cranberry is actually fairly close to the center of the safe zone as well. They're not really that far off. They're probably the closest team, so that'll be one to watch. Cloud9, we saw them go off at the beginning of last match and get 5 eliminations, but they went down early. They didn't make it into modifier range, and they really need to start doing that. Getting eliminations is one half of the battle, as we talked about, but it's the teams that are doing both that are making it to the top of the charts.
You know, 3 weeks ago even, we were still trying to figure out, okay, what is that best method? Because we saw teams just go absolutely crazy, pull down 11 kills, really not even make it into modifier range, but still looking good overall. Now, with the history that we have in the league, we're obviously getting very acclimated to this new scoring system. I think what you said is right on the money, and that is it is somewhere in between. Cloud9 does a good job of playing aggressive, but they're going to need to play for that multiplier as well. I mean, just even think about it. If they're able to stay into that 1.25 multiplier, they basically get 2 extra kills in that scenario. So maybe they slowed it down just a little bit.
Yeah, they need to slow down just a touch. They need to stay alive. It's those teams we talked about at the end of last match. It's those teams that recognize the modifier locations. You'll see them be in a fight, recognize
too,
they're
right?
about to, what?
It rounds up as well if you have.
It automatically rounds up. So if you have 1 kill and you get the 1.25 modifier, it automatically rounds to the next whole number. So you automatically get 2 points. You're going to pick up a full point for doing that.
Exactly.
Even if you only have 1. So being able to recognize when those bubble moments are occurring and put yourself in a safe spot to maybe wait out, or maybe you can see a team and get a pinch real quick and finish them off to bump yourself up before you go down, I think is the right method, and the teams that do that well are the teams that we see at the top right now.
Yeah, that's you just need to know the decision making needs to be there to basically be like, okay, this is not when we're going to run in head down, this is when we're going to run away with our tail in our leg. Just move back from those engagements, find some cover, find some safe areas, and all of a sudden that lack of aggression, the lack of trading is actually going to gain you points.
100%. Sometimes tucking the tail and making a run for it is the right play, and it's going to net you more points, which is kind of backwards from this kill-heavy meta, but it does, and we're going to see the drive-by. Doug trying to net some shots there into Spirits. He's at least dinking away at that car, eating up that Jeep. Set to Destroy as they make their way into the circle. They're coming in guns hot.
They're really going aggressive on this rotation as well, and this is kind of that Set to Destroy that we really have seen. And I mentioned at the very beginning of this game saying, okay, that win wasn't maybe typical from what we've seen of them, but the fact that it wasn't typical is almost typical. That doesn't make sense, but I'm going to break it down right now. Basically what I'm saying is this has been a team that I think better than anyone really has been adapting. I don't think you can pin down their style. They are a chameleon based off of what they see in the safe zone.
I think that they have a great blend. I think that adding Prodigy Aces in at the right at the end, right before this tournament started, as that new shot caller, you took a team that did fairly well in the old meta, stayed alive. You got some guys that got some great shots on them, and you put them with a guy who's the opposite. He's just a pure slayer, 100% wants a fight all the time, and we're actually going to see a fight from them very early here against Epsilon as they start to take some shots down into our number 2 team.
This could be huge. I mean, even if they don't take a kill here, taking away the resources from, honestly, their toughest competition that they're starting to make look like wet noodles. Now, Prodigy Ace is going to decide to stay aggressive. He's got that Magnum in his hand. Just going to use that cop car to close a little bit of the space. And we talked about the Magnum before. Why is this weapon so good? Because it is the vehicle slayer. And you can see by that actual play, Prodigy Ace is going to be very aggressive here as well. But the thing is that play is just a warding play, getting them away, but also it's taking away resources.
Yeah, so to get back and finish out that thought from before, basically Prodigy Ace's super aggressive style with a team that plays that plays very well under pressure and can stay alive works really well together. So you've now got a team that's getting pushed just a little bit outside their comfort zone to where they're a little bit more aggressive, but they have the shot to do it, especially with somebody like Doug going off last match, and Prodigy Aces, we've seen what he can do as well.
I mean, if we had a stat right now for seconds spent not shooting by Prodigy Aces, it would be pretty remarkable.
I think he'd be leading.
This is exactly what you're saying. I mean, he is just able, so aggressive. He doesn't even need anyone being his wingman here, and you can see him left and right just bobbing between teams. You don't want that to happen. Pick yourself up there, Riki. Going to be able to pull it together, and we do know Rogue, they had that early death last time. They were able to do a pretty gosh darn good job.
They were able to hold on for a long time. They played that bubble point well, got into the modifier range. They held off just long enough to net points. Sometimes that's better than trying to get the kill yourself, is just let the modifier do it for you. Give you some extra points.
Well, that was the other thing that we really did see come into play, and that was the fact that teams like Rogue were either going to be able to take advantage of pinching in situations or getting pinched. And of course, a pinch means you join that gunfight a little bit late. You wait for two people to be working on each other, and you come in, try to grab that last shot. It doesn't matter how much of the damage you actually do. It matters who actually gets that last shot, that last hit, that kill. That is going to be the team that's awarded a point. So those pinch plays, as we like to call them, are incredibly important. Once again, we jump on board with Prodigy Aces, and in Prodigy Aces fashion, he's taking shots.
And now we see some shots coming out early from CLG, who's usually out of these fights in the early game, and they are starting to rain some shots down from the mountaintops onto Echo Fox. CLG playing the outside edge of the safe zone. Really, once we get a look at the safe zone again, you'll see that it's not truly the edge of the safe zone, but basically everything behind them is dead space in the mountains, so nobody's really out there. And you can actually see it right here. They're playing right down along that south side in the E10. So Gangstars, though, might be coming up alongside them. That might be something that they need to watch out for. These teams that play center safe zone, though, are the ones that we've seen going far. If you can get a strong point center safe zone and play it well, those are the ones that we've seen with high points. And I think at some point, CLG is going to have to start trying to do rotations for mid points.
And we've seen that in pretty much every single game at this point now, Jason. All of the teams really adapting to it. We saw it earlier in the last game. In last game, you go, okay, maybe that's because of the lack of space that there's going to be due to Ruby Lake. This time, you're going to have Run Amok Lake, which is definitely going to be a factor.
Same situation.
It's very much the same situation, but you can see that how they're condensed is really showing that they do want to be in the center. But this has been a cheeky little start. We haven't seen a death come in as of yet, but we have seen so many of these gunfights, and teams are really starting to prepare themselves for that late game, trying to get that war of attrition going. They're trying to take away vehicles, they're trying to take away makeshifts, they're trying to take away helmets.
Absolutely, and I want to go back to CLG just for a second here. I just looked down at the stats for a second, and they're actually currently sitting in 5th to start the day with 55. I think that, I want to reiterate, I think that if they can get center safe zone, I think that they can be in that top 3 spot if they can get in there and start playing strong out of the center.
Vitality returning shots onto Benny Boy very convincingly, and it's actually coming in from Alliance here. Benny Boy going to be tagged up. We've seen how aggressive he likes to get. Hanging out at 50%, going to be able to get that bandage rolling without too much of a problem. Death here could be a little bit unwarranted, and it would be a major disadvantage, the first death, if it did go to Set to Destroy X. And you see they're in a position here. Once again, now Prodigy Ace is the player who's been so aggressive throughout this matchup, going to be tagged up, needs to get in that cop car, needs to get out of Dodge.
What he just did there is actually something that I think separates the players that are on this stage from players that are not on this stage. Being able to react immediately, a lot of players, once they get a couple shots into somebody, will sit in the pocket and sit there and get committed to trying to get that. Did we just lose Adrian to a car explosion?
I've talked about official terminology quite a bit. Rogue is going to be able to get that kill, but there's an official term for that in esports as well. It is going to be yikes. is Adrian going to be going down here, Jason. And once again, an early kill coming in from Rogue, and it looks like they want to continue being aggressive here. They smell the blood in the water after getting that first blood, and now they're looking for a little bit more. They take off the makeshift from Imperial Hall, get a shot in as well, but it looks like Rogue is saying, okay, we need to chillax just a little bit. We don't need to be risking any of our teammates at this moment.
Right. Did you see Imperial Hal immediately as he got hit, stepped in? So same thing we were talking about with Prodigy Aces a minute ago. That's the thing that separates, is how quick do you react to that. Don't get greedy and sit in the pocket and eat shots that you don't need to. I think that that's a big point for the people at home that maybe want to get a little bit better at the game. Getting out of harm's way. As soon as you see any hit come in on you, you need to get out of the way and at least adjust your feet a little bit.
Well, especially in that situation, too, because you say, oh, I'm going to be able to potentially trade, but let's actually see how it went down. Let's take a look at our first kill of the game here. It was a little bit off screen. We kind of jumped in right the nick of the time, and you can see the vehicle. Yeah, it's a little bit tagged up. You're in that situation where you want to try to make it explode yourself, but ultimately Riki's going to be able to get in there, going to be able to get that kill for Rogue. That's 1 point for them.
Yeah, Adrian was trying to get out of the way. Hal went in through the door, and sometimes you don't want to run the same direction as your teammate because somebody gets stuck in the doorway. Yeah. So he tries to jump off the back there, off the back part of the porch, ended up landing right next to the car as it exploded. Unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. You know what else is unfortunate? If you don't like Run Amok Lake, because where our circle does pull right now, going to have a substantial amount in there, and all of a sudden, we basically have...
We're a full circle ahead at this point.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out as well. How far really are we? And we see quite a few teams kind of pinned on the other side. Yeah, we see the other teams, though, pinned aside. They have to make that voyage across Run Amok Lake, and you're not going to have any cover there. A team like Vitality, which we can see right now on our screen, has a very good chance of being able to put in these long-distance shots into teams like Epsilon that need to make this trek. Another team that's going to be a shark in this river is set to destroy X, and you don't want to see them in phenomenal positions because they just set an all-time record for points.
Yeah, Set to Destroy is sitting outside of that. They're not going to be in the main rotation where those teams that have to cross open field. They have a little bit of cover around them. But Epsilon, Cloud9, Rogue, all got really tough rotations to make on this next circle. And Obey is actually choosing to rotate south. I was just looking over at the map, and that's gonna be a complete cluster in that northwest corner of the circle when we get to this next rotation.
This is gonna just be an absolute bloodbath very soon, man. I think it's gonna be a bloodbath to just start things off. And Obey, they already had a rough day. They didn't even get a single point in that first game, and now you can see on the wing, they need to make that rotation in, and they might just get picked off. This is a tough party to be at for them.
Yeah, this is going to be tough for anybody in that northwest corner. It is just a rough rotation.
It's brutal.
It looks like Obey is thinking about rotating south to go through and push through the cabins. They might be just looking to get eliminations. Rogue looks like they want to stay alive, and they're trying to do the rotation in the opposite direction, which is going to force this fight. We're going to lose a helmet on Teenage. Vago going to get a couple hits there. He's going down to extremely low, and it is a disaster for Vago as he rolls down the hill, but that might be a quick escape. Maybe it helps him.
That's a strategy, I guess.
He sticks in. Let's go. 10 out of 10. Way to go, Vago.
Vago sticks the landing,
but
goes
the
into the gas. That's a little bit of weird timing to go into the gas. Going to be able to jump out here of the Chief. Needs to bandage himself up, and he's going to make Shambles look real cool. Vago needs to get these bandages on nice and quick as you see shots coming in.
Is that vehicle going to explode on top of him, trying to move it out of dodge? Going to move with the vehicle as well, playing that ring just a little bit, trying to obscure the shots coming in. Obey Alliance, though, hot pursuit. Vago, he needs to get out of there. Good play by him, but he's not out of this yet. Luckily, Huskers, Buddy going to be able to come in with the carpool.
I just realized 74 players are still up. We've still only lost one, so Rogue's the only team missing a player currently. They are the only, one of the only teams with an elimination. Oh no, they're up. I'm sorry, C9. I am losing my mind up here today, but they are going to go ahead and get out of there. And an explosion right on top of Impact as they lose a vehicle. Cutie Venom in trouble, trying to make a run to get up to this smoke nade. Loses the armor, and he is going to go down, and that is going to be at the hands of CLG as they start laying down eliminations. Pineapple's also going to go down, and then Zeke from Rogue.
Blank, it was right on top of the other team. He manages to stay alive, gonna be tagged up. Just one more bullet, gonna be able to take down Blank. And you can see it is IG right up against Fox. Blank just with a shred of health, going to be coming in with these shots. Will he be able to do it against Sloth? Sloth going to be hiding here, and one shot through the smoke, going to be able to bring him down. And now it's Echo Fox with 3, and Impact, it's just CBK Flame. Will he be able to go out with a bang? Helmet going to be ripped off here, leaving him very vulnerable, and just like that, it is going to be Echo Fox that comes out on top. Impact Gaming with only 2 points, the first team eliminated. Jason, I kind of know the gas already spreading. We only have about 5 teams in our safe zone. This is about to be absolute chaos. Shotgun fight, and it's going to be a beautiful kill coming in here from Shades.
They do lose 2 members off of Alliance, though, as he gets that elimination. Flamehopper also going to go down to Sloth from Echo Fox, and Shades going to be forced to push out into C9. He gets a couple shots into Flowers, looking for the shotgun, not able to clean it up. He is going to go down. Flowers cleaning that one up.
We haven't seen this much action in the gas in I don't know how long, and now we are going to see the kill feed starting to light up. C9 just getting traded out. It looks like it's going to be a team kill coming in here as well. Finally, Obey Alliance going to be able to pick up another point here. They're tied with Echo Fox in first place, and they're going to have all players up from their team on board with Noble. They're going to be able to get a lot of damage done here, but ultimately, Set to Destroy X is going to find a point.
I do believe that eliminates Tempo Storm. They're going to be the 3rd team eliminated, and that's going to be a 0-point round for them. That is a tough round. You never want to go home with 0 points. Nightwalker from CLG, though, looking to get some shots down into Echo Fox. Look at Sweet Dreams, though, out there on the side. Really, really wide rotation there, trying to get that flank. Not going to be able to get it. The car on fire right next to CLG. They need to make sure that they don't get blown up. Echo Fox going to hit that car. They're going to take out Kreenak and Grimmy right as the camera swapped off. But we're back on board with Set to Destroy. No, back to Nightwalker, and he is still fighting Sweet Dreams.
Sweet Dreams, I don't know how he's able to stay up in situations like this, and all of a sudden Nightwalker, last one up for his team, gonna be able to find 1 point before Crank comes in and descends on the Walker of the Night. And Echo Fox looking absolutely phenomenal here as far as points go, but their team pretty banged up. Crank almost about to bleed out here, full bleed, needs to stop for just a second, get the bandage, pick up his homie, and drive on out, because with only 2 players up, they are 1 team away from hitting that modifier range. This is the period where they need to hide. Vitality, an incredibly high-scoring team from last game, in between 2 teams.
So Vitality knows that Rogue's behind him. Rogue only has 2 players up, though, so it's going to be tough for them. Echo Fox going to lose 2 players, to Driv and Carta, and now we're going to lose Teenage and Spirits to the hands of Prodigy Aces and Gabe's Set to Destroy
X
trying
managed
to pick
do
people
this
up.
every time. They have all players still up. Now they're going to descend upon Noble and Obey, potentially get pinches up here. Finally, we are going to see Obey Alliance lose a player. Set to Destroy X are going to do it as well. But Jason, we need to pay attention to a huge play that had recently gone down as Gabe's tearing through with the shotgun, looking for another player of Obey Alliance, but he's taken down by OA.
Obey Alliance is going to go ahead and clean that one up, but let's go ahead and take a look back at that double kill that we saw, or didn't get to catch just a moment ago. So Sweet Dreams and Crank here. Car going to explode, not able to get out of the way in time. This explosion going to come in from Carta, and Triv going to finish off the other one with that AK.
And if you remember, he had to pick up his other teammate just based off of how the situation was going, but that is the risk that you take by having all of your team in one of those vehicles, in just one vehicle, but with only 2 up. There isn't much of a way to spread it out, but we see Set to Destroy X, TSM, and OA in the lead, all of them banged up here, already in that multiplier range, and this fight between Vitality and Rogue could be absolutely massive if trades do come in. Prodigy Ace is off screen, going to be able to come in while Vitality's not paying attention, going to be able to find a kill. Absolutely beautiful, once again from Set to Destroy. Vitality just going to be wiped off of this map. Only a few players going to be left standing for them. It is just 1 left up.
Rogue is always doing this. They always seem to make it into the end and get some points, and they play consistently. They always seem to be doing it with only 2 players up, though. That's the weird thing with them, is that they're always down bodies, but they're always in the fight.
It's because of the trades. It's just how they're trading
They've
out.
had 2 guys up for at least 5 minutes now. They've been down 3 bodies for a while.
You know, and we'll have to see what Riki and Vago can do, and they've already made it into that multiplier range, and now they're close to making it into the 1.5, so maybe this is where they do kind of relax for just a second there. Body armor going to be ripped off of Nastical, heads up play, knows who's around, stop, drop, and roll, going to be ready for that fight when it does come. LG on the outskirts have a very favorable position here, and you can see just investing everything that they have into this fight, collapsing in on Gangstar. Gangstars know they need to get a rest as well. They come up, LG finds the first shotgun kill, and it is a bloodbath. LG gets mopped up by the Gangstars. They're only going to have 2 up, but they secure that third place right now with the 5 kills, set to destroy X behind them, but with the body advantage.
Yeah, every single team is missing players at the moment. Epsilon and Set to Destroy, though, 4 bodies up each. Everybody else only has 2 left alive. So our number 1 and number 2 team going into the final circles have the body count. I think we're going to see a fight between them again. Epsilon in the better position currently on that. They have a less chance of getting pinched. Currently right now, Set to Destroy has a very high chance of getting pinched, but they're still in a 4v4 at this point. They've got 2 on one side, 2 on the other.
Epsilon could, in theory, pick up so many kills here and actually propel themselves, even though they only have 1 point. They have the best positioning here, and they're favored to potentially win it and potentially get that 2x multiplier. And Jason, I'm going to say it right now. We are seeing the 2 most consistent teams. Who's going to be able to shake it up? And Epsilon going to start getting online with those kills. They make it into the top 5. All of the teams here guaranteed at least that 1.5 multiplier, but only first place gets the 2x. And everybody is banged up. Epsilon and Set to Destroy X, the 2 healthiest teams. Gangstars looking to change that with these gunshots coming in, but it's going to be Nah who finds the kill to start this off. Only 12 players going to be left up, but one of the most aggressive players is taken out in Prodigy Aces by Nastical.
Yeah, Set to Destroy set up really well here, but we did see Epsilon go ahead and open this up. If they can go ahead and rotate over and get this fight in to Set to Destroy early and get them out of the match, that will give them a really big opportunity to come in and start gaining traction and start catching up to Set to Destroy. So Epsilon needs to get this fight with Set to Destroy out of the way. They need to not let them get eliminations on the other players. They need to be the dominant team at the end.
Pennyboy able to get that helmet back on so quick, which is huge. TSM going to be able to come in here. It is going to be Triv going to be able to come in with a little bit of teamwork and get that kill. Triv wants to stay just a little bit aggressive. Epsilon now with 4 players still up. They have that favorable position. What can they do with it? Going to smoke off their flank, but ultimately it is going to be Doug is Raw who finds a kill. Top 3 here, Jason, and it is a battle between TSM with just 2 players against 2 of the most consistent teams in the league, and they are raining down shots onto Epsilon. What can TSM do to shake up that scoreboard? Epsilon and Set to Destroy want to maintain their lead.
TSM needs Epsilon and Set to Destroy to go ahead and fight each other. This could be the win for TSM and something that could get them going. They're a team that we've talked about that has underperformed based upon expectations of them for this season. They do have the high ground. They have the better position currently, but everybody is just sitting still. They need Set to Destroy. Actually, they're going to have to rotate in. Epsilon has the position. So Epsilon's can just sit
the position.
And there's nothing in between them. Once they start walking down to get into the circle, they can go to the left here and separate themselves from Set to Destroy. That's the play. They need to go left while Set to Destroy pushes right and hope that Epsilon gets eliminated and hope that Epsilon puts some damage into Set to Destroy and opens the door for TSM to take down the match.
Oh,
and that is what is going to happen.
Blown up! And then it's a trade from FJ onto Pennyboy, and TSM holds that position, puts in those big shots. Doug is Raw, stays alive on a 3-0, almost finds the kill, but it is going to go the way of TSM, and it is going to be TSM with just 1 player up, 11 points against Epsilon with 2, but he's going to be taken out there, doesn't run into the smoke, a ballsy play, a lot of respect coming out there, and ultimately TSM pulls down the lead. Very well played by them, and it was clear that our top 3 teams deserve to be there. What a week this has been, Jason.
I mean, Set to Destroy and Epsilon today proved why they are up there in the positions that they are. Both games coming down to the top 3, both of them competing for the highest eliminations. However, that match overall is going to go down to Team Solo Mid. TSM going to take down a match here. I think that's going to feel really good for them and hopefully get them going.
I got to say it right now. What's true is true, and it is just clearly right now Set to Destroy X